So, this afternoon I went somewhere to pick something, and so someone walked up to me, a man, and said, he called my name, Lion King, and so when I looked, he said, that he recognized me when he saw, I drove in my Z9, so that was when he suspected I would be the one that. He has been following me. There's one of my subscribers on YouTube, and I've seen my Z9. I posted there on a few occasions or a few videos. So he saw that that has to be me. So, and eventually he saw me and also recognized that, or confirmed that yes, it was me. So, anyway, to cut it short, he wanted to clarify some things to help him, make a final decision. That he has watched my videos and responding to people who are considering to buy either Peugeot 406 or 307, or who wanted to get an expert advice on which Peugeot car that will serve them better for long distance drive or journeys in Nigeria. So he wanted to hear it from me, 101. Um, because I was busy, I actually went there for something. So I told him I was going to do a video on that, and so that it will be, so I'll have time to explain rather than standing there and you know, giving you one or two um talks that may not clarify it for him. So here is the video. In as much as I praise 406 very much, a lot of you guys know that. I praise it not because of um, I want to deceive you. No, I do it because it's a fact. It's one of the best Peugeot cars ever produced. However, I'm also a pragmatic person. If you've been following me online, reading my articles, watching my videos, I'm very, yes, I'm that practical. Yes, my discipline back then in the university was um, this political science, but then doesn't mean, I was groomed in theories, though observing human, um, okay, let me not go into that. As much as those theories were my formation, still the core personality of me remains practical. I'm that pragmatic. So when it comes to 307 and 406, I would say, I'm not gonna lie to you. 406 has faded or is almost fading out of the market. You might think, oh, but there are so many of them on Nigeria roads and that. No, what I'm saying is getting a sound one, especially falling used, because he was very specific that he prefers Tukumbu falling used. So they almost faded out of the market. So it makes more sense. That's why I always use that word, like part of risk resistance. It makes more sense to go for 307 to serve you at as good as 406. Considering that to get a sound 406, falling use, even Nigerian used as good condition, you're not going to get that very cheap. They cost, they cost a lot. I'm not saying you can't afford it if you are listening to me, but I'm saying it's not for average person now. The price have really actually gone up. No, that high. You could afford it, but I'm just saying on average they've gone up. The demand, the value of the car has made it to go up. So when you look at, okay, what's next the next? What's the alternative that can serve similar purpose of forces is the 307. You understand? So as I say, I'm being pragmatic here. Rather than trying to tell you to keep hoping on something that may never materialize or may take unnecessary stress or spend something that doesn't work for you, because if you are, let's assume you are a car person like me, if I want a 406, I want a 406, you know. It's a different, it's not, to me, it's money is not my first uh, issue. I'm not saying it's there, but I'm saying I want 406, I want 406. It comes when it comes. That's who I am. So, but I know a lot of people don't see cars the way people like me do. They are not that attached. You just want something that will serve you these purpose. The 307 will serve you as good as 406 for this particular purpose. Long, because when people say long journeys, constantly on Nigerian highways, of course you understand that one of the factors is the bad condition of our highways. Not all of them, but there's something about highway. You need a car that the suspension can be able to stand the test of time constantly on that throughout the ownership. Not that they won't fail as you do use the car for journeys, but you hardly spend or you hardly feel concerned to travel with car, knowing that coming back we may spend a fortune to put the suspension by. That's my point. So these two cars, the suspensions are that good. It's no longer about, okay, which one is better. Of course, 406 one is something else. So, but the 307 on, I can tell you, don't worry about it. It will take you and bring you back. That's how good their suspension is. And even if you are going to repair anything, it will cost you little to do, not much, compared to some other Peugeot cars, even the ones produced around that same year, those same years, yes. So that is that. So I will always, as far as Nigeria is concerned, usually my first thing for you to consider the if you want a car to be plying on highway constantly. Our highways are not smooth from here to there wherever you are going, unless there's a particular route that is that good that you probably hardly hit a car of. But on average, I mean, it's not like you're going to drive, slow down, drive, enter, come on. No. As you are speeding, there's pothole there, there's pothole there, there's pothole in the middle, there's pothole this and this, every angle. A car or trailer or whatever is directly behind you. What are you gonna do? You wanna brake, every time you mash your brake to reduce that, they will come behind you and push you out of the road. If two of you won't survive. So you have to keep jumping those gallop. You try to swerve, and the ones you can avoid, the ones you can't avoid, you just keep climbing them with that speed. And as you do, they are telling on the suspension, even though you are not feeling it on that high speed. Those beep. Yeah, but they're actually affecting your suspension. So people always think that when you speed, it doesn't affect. No, it does. So that people don't until anyway. So that's by the way. So those are the things. So it's inevitable. Just understand you have to keep climbing. It's something that you have to. So your suspension have to be able to stand those things. Eventually they will wear out, but it's not. Even if they do, it costs you little to get it back, or it will take so much. It may take you 20 trips on a particular bad road or highway to eventually to have anything to repair on your suspension. That's my point. And when you do, it will spend less than others. Not because they are others are not others suspension are bad. It's just that for this particular purpose, these two cars will serve better. So that's the point. Now when it comes to long journeys as well, I'm going to be straight here. there's an advantage 307 has over 406 for this particular purpose this guy is seeking, and that is which of the seats is more comfortable. 307s, especially the 406, they are more comfortable than that of the 406 to travel with. So when you drive a long distance, or not just long distance, when you sit on a 307 front seat and the 406 front seat, you see I understand not everybody some people say they don't even they can hardly tell any difference between one car and the other. It's apart from what the interior looks like or exterior looks like. So they can't even feel any technical difference. But those of us who car runs in our blood, yeah, once we sit inside, before we even sit inside, we start seeing there are some technical differences and how the car most likely is going to feel when you sit inside or gear it into action. So 207 seats, they are very, very comfortable. When you sit on them, when properly adjusted, no, they are comfortable. I'm not saying 406 is not, but 307 is better. So on the longer journey, you feel, more relaxing. I'm not saying too relaxed is not that good for a long journey because it can make you sleep off. But what I'm saying is, you stand a chance to do to 10, 15 hours without feeling any back pain or anything in 307 than the 406. Maybe you don't feel in your 406. I'm not saying if you do in 406, you must feel. But I say for 307, the chance of having such pain will be very, very minimal or hard. So the 307 seat is more comfortable. You need to drive one, not just sitting on it. When you drive, you understand. Though people adjust their seats differently. Some will adjust their seats so close to the steering wheel. Of course, you're not going to feel comfortable no matter what you do. You have to shift, relax. I always tell people, if you want to feel comfortable in a car, use your left hand. Stretch it. I'm not saying it must be stretched fully. You have to stretch to some extent. So your back need to go back. You are not meant to be seeing your front bumper. Push it back. Because what you are looking at is some, what do you call it? Your distance between your vehicle and your seat. That's what you should be looking at while you're driving, not what is directly under your bonnet. So stop adjusting your seat to the point that your chest is the one turning your steering wheel. It will make it very uncomfortable. If you travel with it, you will feel miserable. In fact, you probably may have to. It's possible that's why most people don't like long journeys. They feel it's so stressful. It's because of how you adjust your seat. If not, I mean, it's not. I enjoy long distance drives. I enjoy it. It's one of my hobbies. I love it. So 207 seats is even the way they designed it. When you sit inside, it looks as if you are on an SUV. However, it's not an SUV, but it's because the way the seat is, the way they did the seat, you see, it kind of sit up. However, there is so much headroom, even more than that of 406. And then the front leg room is so big as well, even more than that of 307, 406, I think. Yeah. It's not like it's more. The 307 because the seat, you are sitting up. So your leg will not go down. Unlike the 406, you are kind of on a level with the car, so your seat will just stay straight. While the 207, it goes down. So that's kind of SUV design. Even though it's much lower, it's a low vehicle, not as low as 407, but it's low. When you are saying comparing it to SUV or CUV, so it's very comfortable to drive. Now there are other things too. See, my focus of this video is a long distance drive among these two. So there's something about 307 that you may find annoying or comfortable, but eventually you get used to it. Now, on this, if you are driving in the city, um, the 406 is more pleasurable to drive on manual transmission than 307 manual transmission. The 406 manual transmission is like that of like the 407 and the 607 thing. You know, the gear shift is, you could, I would say, hard mechanical, but it's a little bit more designed to be feel rosy the way as you are shifting, you know. But the 307, I don't know, the way they did it, it's not like we'll be searching for each gear as you are throwing them in, but it feels kind of awkward somehow. I don't know. It takes some pull, some push for them each one to go in and come out, irrespective of uh, the production year or the oil quality in the gearbox or not. So when you drive in the city, you find that it's not something you always want to be pulling, changing all the time, even though can be pleasurable. But the point I'm saying is, after a while, you get used to it. You won't see, it won't be a problem anymore until you enter like 4 6 manual and drive. So this is basically for only manual users or people who have more interest or prefer the manual 307 and manual 406. So or manual 406. So you see the differences. So, but on the highway, you hardly because you hardly shift. Yeah, you do shift. Maybe you want to downshift or want to upshift, or which takes much longer. Because once you maintain momentum on gear 5 on the high speed, you stay there for a while before you need to downshift or shift. Unlike the city where you are doing that mostly, most of the time, less than 2 3 minutes or less, you can it moves from one gear to another. So, so that's even though the seat, each has their own advantage and disadvantage. Yeah, the first, yeah, the seat may not be as comfortable as that of the 307, but then the gear shift, wow, I mean, it's that smooth. It's only when like the oil in it is the non-recommended ones. In that case, you start feeling uh, 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 need for pressure for you, the gear to pull from one to another. Ordinarily, it just goes in smoothly in and out. Yeah, both of them are long stroke. Shifting takes too long. Shift from this to that, not short stroke. However, the 406 is much smoother. So you feel it in the 207, can be annoying in the beginning, but over time you get used to it. If you use your vehicle, probably will even notice it after a month. You feel normal with it. I think, well, in fact, for me, if I were to say, because I would say all Peugeot cars are better than that of 207 when it comes to gear shifting manual. I mean, but the best I've driven so far when it comes to manual design, the way you shift the city, is that of 508. 508 manual, I mean, is so tough. The ones I've driven so far is the best. The way they did it, the position of the gear lever, is I don't want to go into it's something you have to experience on the side. And I say 508 manual is, I'm talking about W2 manual. So it's just marvelous, the manual. I've drove it several times, and I'm not saying I have plans to have one, but I'm saying I would love to keep, drive one once in a while, because it's a thought, give it a big thought on how the design, especially that man, the way it goes in, the way the armrest will hold your arm palms. No, it's good. There is so but that is missing in 307 as well. So not this difference, you feel it in 207, but that shouldn't discourage you, because like I say, just a while, you get used to it, you know. Um, so you may have to stop trying to, unless forces is actually your dream, that it now makes sense to go, stick to what you want. If not, uh, 307 is much cheaper. It's much cheaper. And I'm sorry, yeah, when you look at the two, you could say, oh, but 406 is much bigger, so you need space. The thing about 307, yeah, it's not as wide as 406, but in terms of comfortability inside, is the interior is not as small as you think when you are looking at it from outside. It can swallow you, no matter how big you are, no matter how tall you are. You stretch your leg, feel comfortable. Even the rear seat as well. There's enough leg room, enough headroom. So yeah, 307 is one kind of vehicle. The way they designed it is serving like various purposes. It's not a big family size vehicle. However, it can actually serve you that purpose as well, the way they did it. So not saying when you compare the two that 307 is much better than 406 for highway purposes. But I'm saying being practical, you can get a Tokumbo 307 much cheaper than that of the 406, and it will still serve you same or similar purpose, low cost of maintenance. That's where I'm coming. I'm not saying when you look at my motoring lifestyle or car ownership, you realize that I don't go it for the cheap. I don't. So don't say you are the cheap type. No, I'm just saying, if you are not that type that say if it's not this, then it's not nothing else. Don't push yourself so much for the food, because what I realize is people are so focused that I want food. He has, oh, I want to enjoy food. Since everybody's saying it's good, they end up buying messed up ones. Messed up. Not saying all Nigerian use are messed up, but the messed up Nigerian use ones that at the end of the day realize you wasted so much in buying this graveyard or coffin. Money that used to buy a 307, a sound one that will serve you so well without giving you all this problem with this particular coffin you purchased just to have a 406. There was a time 406 was very cheap. People didn't care. They're all busy complaining how bad Peugeot electrical systems were. Well, if that chance is no longer there, you have to be heavily loaded now to get a sound Tokumbo 406. Unless the ones maybe even the converted ones from right-hand drive to left-hand drive, it's not even that cheap anymore. Unless maybe you are going for the ones that don't have duty and all that. So 307, I'm not saying even that cheap, but when you look at it, it's almost like half of the price of that of Oasis. So that's what I'm saying. I'm being practical here. It's a car you have and enjoy, won't give you problem as long as you don't abuse it. If you have opportunity to get a clean 406, why not? Why not? I mean, 406 is very obvious. Is car that is already known that is going to be an official classic vehicle by mere looking at it. When you look at the 307, 406, you know that no matter what, you can't compare the two when it comes to which one will eventually be, the car in future 20 years, 30 years from now, when it comes out. I mean, everybody's looking at it. You need to see how people, gaze at my 505 whenever I'm driving it. You see cars that are worth more than 20 million, 30 million naira, on the same road. The other day, let me even tell you small story. The other day, I was those in Abuja, living in Abuja. I was under I was driving my 505, and it was very funny. So I got to this beggar on that bridge. I was on the service lane. So I was coming from area one. As I was entering that service lane, I entered the service lane. So I got to that on that bridge. So we stopped, waiting for the other vehicle on the bridge to pass. So but it's more like we stopped at traffic light. So I was the one immediately where the light stopped. Then 508 W8 R8, this latest 508, I'm talking about the 2021, 2022. We just passed and came too. So two of us were side by side. I was about 505, there was a 508. So people were passing and they were just amazed. Some were even taking pictures. I'm surprised that it hasn't even entered online. I haven't seen it online. I mean, 505. 508. This is the next series, the next model on the series that came out. Even though, of course, facelifted anyway. However, guess what? Nobody was looking at that 508 anymore. It was on mine. Yet, the 508 cost probably 30 million or more. I don't even know. They were looking at mine. That is how many? 1986 production. Do the calculation to know how old the car is. It's because of how the car looks. It's not because it looks newer, because there are so many cars that older vehicle that also looks that new. Yet, people barely take a look at it. It's just the look of the car. No, 505, facility 505 has one kind of look. That's why people always say, evolution, evolution. Up till now, people see praise that evolution, 505 evolution. That's what I'm saying. So 406 is there. That signature is there. Give it 20 more years. Every time a clean one comes out, that's how people are going to surround and look at it. It has that elegance, that classic, is just there. However, doesn't mean your life will end if you can't get a sound one. There are other ones that can serve you. 307 will serve that. Looks so good. You might even like 307 better than 406. So don't kill yourself. Don't hope on what may not be feasible for you anymore for now. So after all, I have a 307. I have a project which I've said, I know I've said online several times. I have a 307 project as well. So for you to understand, it's not about this and that. I know the purpose of what 307 can serve as well when it comes to. So So if you can't get a sound 406, you'll be surprised at that money, unless it's not ridiculously low. You'll be surprised that that money may even get you a very sound 307, or if you add a little. So why not? And 307 will serve you same, if not, or similar, if not same purpose 406 will serve you on long journeys. I'm not saying city drive now. Don't say I'm comparing the two. I'm saying for long drive, long journeys on Nigerian road. 307 suspension will serve you like that of this thing. Their engines, well, some difference. Not all are the same. Maybe one or is there only one engine that 406 share with 307? Yeah, only one engine actually. PW10 J4. The rest are different. I hope I think so. No, yeah, only one engine. So there are differences, but generally their fuel consumptions are the same. So unless you now start going in for the ones they design for performance, the bigger engine, different, but like the ones with 2.0 180, those ones are for performance. So I'm talking about 307. So we are not looking at that. The 406 with 2.2 or 3.0 liter, those ones are different. I just say on average, the fuel consumptions are the same when you are talking about 1.6 and 2.0 in 307, 1.8 and 2.0 in 406. These are just average. It's more like standard fuel consumption for both vehicles. Um, so for highways, long distance, in terms of low handling, I don't want to say much, But they are like 406 is good, the low handling is good, but it's not like the best of that of Peugeot vehicles or best produced around that time. 307, the low handling is good, but I'm not saying it's the best. It's just a hot hatch. The ones that can actually serve more, but the ones that are designed for performance, like the one 2.0 180. So those ones, their suspensions are a little bit tweaked to be able to handle such power. So just an average. That is it. So don't lose out because I do praise 406. You lose out on something good. Talking about 307, yeah, they are that good. They will serve you. And so, yeah, they have some advantages over 406. 406 also has its own advantages over 307, But if I had to put everything, there's nothing so much you lose from this, from 406, unless you are into cars. Then there's a reason why you want 406, not just for to serve these purpose, going and coming. You want, maybe this is what you want. You prefer the looks of it, prefer for whatever reason. I have my own reason for having one. I wanted to keep it for good. So, okay, so that is it for this video.